So you've got 20 minutes. Let's make a platformer in Godot. If you don't have Godot installed yet, go to godot.engine.org. Next, select download latest. For this video, I'll be using version 4.5. If you need a previous version and you want to work off the same version as me, go to previous versions and find 4.5-stable and download that one. Step number 1 is to prep your project and download Godot. Once that's done, run the .exe. Click create and come up with a fun name for your project. And you can also choose where you want to save it to by going here. I'm going to change my renderer to compatibility because I plan to export this game later for the web. It gives you a lot of versatility depending on where you want to publish your game. A great free place that you can publish your game and share with friends very easily is called VIVERSE. And I'll show you how to do that later. One of the reasons I love VIVERSE so much is, first of all, it's free. Who doesn't love something that's free? And also it supports for web, mobile, and even VR, if you got those VR skills. Time to add another skill to our to-do list. This gives your game a ton of versatility and allows a lot of exposure to multiple kinds of audiences. And we already have a ton of creators using it, releasing new games every single week. If you decide not to go the compatibility route, you can choose whatever other renderer and read more about it to figure out if it fits your needs. And when you're ready, click that big ol' create button. Step number 2, we'll be setting up the controls and the input mapping. But before that, go ahead and click 2D scene. So first, we're gonna be adding our controls. So we're gonna go to project settings. You'll probably be on general, go to the input map tab and select the add new action box and name this move_left. And then go ahead and click the add button with the plus over here. And we'll do the exact same thing for move_right. We can just click enter to add it, and then you can type in jump. Make sure you spell it right. And now you can click each key and click this plus button, and now it's listening for your keyboard input. So super easy and very nice convenient feature with Godot. So I'm just going to, for move left, we want that to be A to move to the left. So I'm just gonna type in A or A physical, just click OK, A physical, and then we'll click plus on move right. And of course we want that to be D. This is where you would input arrow keys if that's what you specifically wanted to use. Then we'll click OK, and then a plus for jump, spacebar, click OK. So I'm just typing that in directly on my keyboard to get that input and then clicking OK. And here's what it should look like once you're done setting all that up. And then we can close that menu. And ta-da, we got the first big part of our game already out of the way. We can close that menu and move on to step 3. Next, we're gonna create the main scene and the tiles, also known as a tile map or tile set in Godot. But first, we wanna save our project so we don't lose everything we just worked on. So go ahead and go up to scene, go to the dropdown, click save scene as, and we'll call this main. I'm going to use a capital M. So main.tscn, click save. And here is our main tab up here, and we'll get other scenes that will appear up here eventually. Make sure to get your handy dandy tea to accompany you in development. In fact, if you've got a beverage with you, let me know in the comments what you're drinking while working on this project. Now we're going to right click our node 2D and select add a child node. Type in tile map layer, and then we'll go ahead and select this and click create. We're gonna right click this and click rename, and let's call this level tile map with a capital for each main word. Now we're gonna go over to this box over here that says empty and select it, and then select tile set right here. And then we can drag this little bar, if you see that arrow up here to be able to see this a bit clearer. And we're gonna be navigating between these two tabs, mainly tile set and tile map, to create our tile set. And you can see over here, this is where the main area of our game is. So I'm just gonna hold mouse button to move here in Godot, and then scroll wheel to scroll in. Next, we're gonna be adding your sprite sheet or tiles. If you're an artist and you wanna make a tile set, you can absolutely go for that. It can be quite complicated if you're a beginner, but there are tile sets you can find online to get examples of what that sort of thing looks like. What I'll be using is a free tile set on itch.io, and you can download the same one as me. I'll leave the links in the description if you wanna follow along, or download your own to get a little variety. And make sure you always credit the user's work who you're using, and also make sure that you check the TOS, especially if you plan on selling this game. You need to know if it is able to be used commercially or not. So we're just going to itch.io, and I'm just gonna type in 2D platformer. And I'm actually gonna look up tile set specifically as well. This is the one that I'm gonna be using. You'll just go ahead and click download now. And if you are able to support the developer and it's within your means, you can do that here. Or if you're unable to, you can say no thanks, just take me to the downloads. And then go ahead and click download. So once it's downloaded, you can right click, extract all, extract, and we'll let it extract in this folder. And then I'll double click on it, and we'll have our different assets in here. And then we'll open Godot again, go over to the file system. This is pretty much where your assets sets live in Godot, we can right click in the blank space, click new folder, and we'll just call this tile set 1, because if you had multiple like levels with different terrains or something, maybe you'd want it to be different. So we'll go ahead and click OK, go to tile set 1, make sure that folder's open, and then we'll go back to what we just unzipped. And I'm just gonna go ahead and grab all 3 of these by clicking and highlighting and dragging and dropping them straight into Godot. You'll see a little plus sign at the bottom right. Go ahead and release it. Release it to Godot. Let it have it. Okay, so we can click that folder to open it, or click that little drop down arrow. For now, I'm just gonna start with a few. I'm not gonna do the whole level design at this moment because we just want to get things actually functioning with the code. So now we're gonna go to the tile set tab down here, select all 3. I'm just holding shift on my keyboard to select them all and drop them in here. An atlas texture is modified, just click yes. Okay, great. And now you can see you can navigate between your different tile sets that you have in here, and you'll be able to select them individually and whatnot as well. And let's make sure to save our work, so click Control S to save. So I would like to start with some of these tiles. So I'm just going to zoom in with scroll wheel here, use middle mouse to pan around. Okay, so this is part of the setup and where you edit everything, but we're actually going to go back to the tile map tab, and this is where we're going to select and draw out our tiles. So I have this one selected. I just click zoom. I just zoomed in to select these specific ones. I'm going to hold this one, hold shift on my keyboard and select all 4 because I would like to paint with all 4 at once. So you can hold shift and unselect if you just want 2 at a time, if you just want 1 at a time, depends on how you want to set up your level. So I'm going to select all 4, and we're just going to drop a platformer right here. I'm just going to drop a few, and we'll call that good for now until we get to more level designing. If I want to paint some trees into, I can go back to the trees here. And if for some reason your trees or whatever tiles are blacked out, go back to tile set and make sure they're selected in here. They might not be selected. See how I just selected this additional tile, and if I go back, that's now available to me. So that's how you would get access to tiles if for some reason it closed it off to you. See, that just opened to all these tiles up here. Okay, so now we're just going to select all of these in under tile map, and I can also drop a tree. So it's just like painting. It's really nice, very simple and satisfying. A Bob Ross moment, but via pixel art in a game engine. Let's go. Paint your happy little trees. And if you want to start making your level now, go for it. Feel free to pause the video and come back later. All right, we already have so much completed. I'm mega proud of you. Let's go. Okay, so next we are gonna make our player and player script so that they can actually walk around, move around the level, and collide with the tiles. First, we're gonna make a new scene by going up to Scene, New Scene, and select 2D Scene. Right-click the Node 2D and rename this Player with a capital P, and go ahead and right-click the player in the player scene. Select Change Type, and we'll type in Body 2D, Character Body 2D right here. Select that one and click Change. Now we'll right click and add a child node. And the first one we're gonna add is Sprite. And then we'll right click player node again, add another child node, and we're gonna call this Collision Shape 2D. So basically we just have our sprite, that's going to be the actual player, the art, and then the collision is going to be what says, hey, you can't go through, just fall straight through these tiles. And the player is just the parent to help run these two things. For Collision Shape 2D, we're just going to go over to the right here where it says empty, and we're just going to select whatever shape you want that's going to fit your character. We're going to look more at this in a second, but I'll just select a rectangle for now, and we can see the rectangle in the middle here if I scroll back into the middle area. We'll be editing that shortly. You can use these to edit it to fit your character more. Next, click Control S, and we're just going to save our scene, and we are going to name it player. And we'll just change that P to a capital. Okay, then click save. And the way we can add a script is by clicking this button right here, but make sure you're on the player itself before you click the script button. Click the plus button and then just click create. We don't have to change anything here. Now here's our script. So you can go back and forth between 2D to get back to your 2D scene, script if you want to edit the scripts, and you'll see your different scripts here on the left side. You can copy the code I have here on the screen. I'm also going to be sharing the project below if you want to directly be able to grab the code from the project. But let's walk through a little bit about what it actually means. All these right here are determining different things like the speed, the jump velocity, and the gravity of our character. You can change any of these numbers if you want a different feel or look. These are interchangeable. Try out different numbers, see what looks good. And the nice thing is you don't have to go into the actual script to change these. The way these are written in the code, it actually adds it over here to player.gd, so you can change the numbers directly here without coming back to the script. Right here, this is for having an animated sprite, which I'm going to show you how to do an animated sprite. You can also do a standstill one as well using the same method. You'll just select sprite 2D instead of animated sprite 2D. So we are going to change this. We'll actually do that now. Right click sprite 2D, and then we'll select change type, and then we'll just select here animated sprite 2D. So either one, we're going to change it to an animated one, and you'll select sprite frames. So this is just calling upon the animated sprite, and delta basically means that it's going to make sure it's moving the same no matter what computer you're using. It's not going to lag from what I understand, but feel free to let me know in the comments if I'm not explaining that as well, if you know a little bit more about this specific line of code. This is our if then statements. If you move right, move the character to the right. If you move left, move the character to the left, etc. And we have the same down here for jump, running all the different animations we have plugged in here when to play the animation. And then lastly, we have a die function here, which we'll be talking about the end for ending the game if your player falls off. And this is going to reset the current scene if your player falls off. You can see reload current scene. So that's a bit of a walkthrough. And I will say this may not be the most efficient code, as I used ChatGPT to help me code this. I am more experienced in C# programming with Unity, so I understand the logic of code, but I am newer to Godot. But I do recommend that you use a mix of AI tools, research, forums, Reddit posts, YouTube videos, actually learning how to write the code from scratch, because the more you know, the stronger all these tools are going to become at your disposal. Instead of just relying on something like AI all the time, or just relying on like this YouTube video, you don't want to do that, because then you're not going to really have the skills yourself to be able to go and build something, or like a dream game that you might want to build. So make sure to use a mix of all the different methods of how you're learning. Not all this code is going to work off the bat yet, because of course we haven't added all these different things, but this is so you can see it all in one place. We're going to go ahead and click Control S to save. Another thing I wanted to mention is that we're currently using GD script, which is a specific coding language written for Godot for beginners to learn a little bit easier, but there are different programming languages depending on the engine you use, which is always important to know so that you can learn and expand on those skills. Next, we'll click on Node 2D up here, click the little link button, and click the player scene. So now the player is also here within Node 2D, and I'm just going to move it above the tile map. And I just did the same thing looking on itch.io for an animated pixel sprite character, and we're going to be using this one here. So you can download it, extract it, same exact thing we did earlier with the tile sets. So I'll leave that challenge to you. So next we'll go back to file system, right click, new folder, and we're just going to call this player. Here's the player folder. We'll select that, go back to our sprites. We'll go to the individual sprite. And for now, we're just going to start with the idle animation. That's the basic, just standing in one place. I'm going to select all these by clicking and dragging and drop them in Godot like we did earlier, and then open up that folder by clicking that arrow key. We're going to go back to the player tab. We're going to down here select sprite frames, open that up. This is where you're going to add your different frames for each animation. And we're just going to click plus, and I'm just going to double click on new animation, back that up and name it idle. Wow, I did not spell idle right. IDLE. Oh no, oh no. There we go. And then we'll select everything here by holding shift, and then we'll click and drag and drop it in this blank space here. And now you can see that our collision shape is way off, so I'm just going to select our collision shape over in the scene, and we're going to move this and just expand it to fit her. Try to fit that as close as possible so it connects best with the player's eye. Then we'll go back to the sprite 2D up here, and now we can click Control S to save, go back to main, and you'll see that she's there, but she's behind all of our tiles. So how do we fix that? We're going to open the ordering tab, and we'll just type in 1, which should move her above. So this is your layering system if you need anything to be on top or behind another thing. And then we'll click W. We'll click W, and then we can move her as well to where we want. I'm just going to go ahead and move her here for now. I'm actually going to move her a little bit further up so that when she drops, we can see what happens. So click Control S. So make sure you're on the player scene next, and we're going to just continue to add more. So we're going to click plus. I'm going to double click this and call it jump. And then we're going to click this plus again, and I'm going to do run. So those are the 3 main ones that I'll do. And we're just going to drop everything here into the player folder for now. You're welcome to be more organized if you would like. Of course, that's always good. So I'm just going to select all these, drop them in the player folder, select all the jumps, drop them right there. And then we'll go to run, and we'll do the same thing. So if you're lucky enough to get an artist who did a ton of different animations, that is really amazing. So we'll go to player, and then we'll select all the different runs, and we'll drop that in there as well. And now you can click Control S, and we're going to change the speed of our different pieces here. This depends on the look that you want. You can mess with this. For run, I'm going to change the FPS to 12, and then for jump, we will make sure that that's 5. Idle 5 is fine. So then Control S, save again. All right, and then we'll go ahead and test this out by clicking the play button, and we'll get a little window pop up here. Oh, looks like we have an issue. Animation play jump. Attempt to call function play and based on the null instance on a null instance. Okay, so what the issue seems to be is, I believe because this is just called sprite2d, we need to make sure it has the same name so the script can reference the correct thing. So we're just gonna rename that animated sprite2d. Okay, click Control Save, and then we're gonna open our scene that was just open from clicking play, make sure that's exit out, and retry to click play. And there we go. It looks like the game plays now, but our character is flying through the tiles and down into the ground, and our camera is all out of whack, so let's fix those things next. This brings us to step 4, which is adding a camera. So we'll go back to 2D and make sure you're in the player scene. We'll click on player, right click, add child node, and we'll type in camera 2D. Go ahead and double click to open that up and select it. And we're gonna click the drag box, open that with that little arrow, and select on for horizontal, drag and vertical enable as well. Now we can save, and let's go ahead and click play again and see if that fixed our problem. It did. So we have it on our character now, but we're zoomed super far out. So how do we zoom in? We can do that by just going up to zoom here, and I'm gonna change this to 2. And yes, we want those both to be 2, and then we'll just see how that looks. You can click play and see. Okay, that's a bit closer. So go ahead and adjust those numbers depending on what you want. Make sure to save with Control S. Next, let's add collision. Go to the player scene and make sure collision shape 2D is a child of the player. So I just clicked and dragged that on player to make sure that it is. Now we're gonna go back to main and go to our level tile map. Select on the tile set tab. Once we're at tile set, we'll go to paint, select a property editor. Oh look, it says there's no physics layer. So let's go over to the physics. So next, click on that tile set button right here, and we'll go to the physics layer and click add element. And layer 1 is fine for both of them. So next we'll go back to the tile set, go to paint, select a property editor, and then we'll go to the physics layer 0. Now how you add physics, we don't want to add physics to our tree right now, so I'm just gonna go back to one of these other layers. These are the tiles I'd like to add them to, and we can select each of them. I'm just selecting one at a time, and it adds the physics. So go to the ones on the edge that maybe have an odd shape, and you can edit the dots by pulling them and shaping it around those edges. And if you highlight here, you can see how there's a plus. That basically means you can add a node and then move that around as well. I'm just clicking Control Z to go back. You can get rid of nodes with this to get rid of it. Click that. You can use this to plus and add a new one. And I just completely messed it up. And you can click these 3 dots here and reset it to the default tile shape, which is whatever the shape of the actual tile is. So I'm just going to go ahead and reshape this here. And the problem is if we have all these selected or select them again, it's going to do that same shape. So just select the one you want it to fit, and then I'll click off to the side here again, and now I'll click on this one and we'll edit this. So I'm just going to reset that to the tile shape, and then we'll try to make it the right shape or as close as we can. Okay, and then we'll reselect that and see how that reset it and filled it in correctly. And you can do this for everything that you need to have collision. Okay, then Control S to save, click play, and let's see if it works. Yay! We can walk on a tile now. Congratulations. Amazing. We're doing great. All right, now I'm falling forever. But before we fix that, we're gonna add a coin pickup system. Let's go. We got this. Platformer energy. Okay, so we're gonna add a coin pickup. So first we're gonna click or create a new scene, click a new scene. Go back to 2D, here it is, it's called empty, and we're just gonna select other node and select area 2D. Right click this and rename it coin, save your work, and then we'll also save that named as coin. Click yes, and then I will add a child, and we're gonna search sprite2d. And of course you can go find your coin on itch.io. I'll leave the link to the one that I'm using in the description. So then you're gonna grab your coin, go ahead and drop it into the project. You can also right click, create that new coin folder. Here it is, and I'm gonna go ahead, drop that into coin, and we'll click and drag this on the empty section. And now you'll be able to see it here, and we'll also go back to coin, add child node, and add a collision shape 2D. And we want this to shape around the coin, so I'm gonna do a circle shape and just make it small enough to fit the coin. Now go to coin and click add the script. It'll be called coin.gd load. I already have a coin.gd, and then you'll add this here on screen. It basically says if your coin is being picked up or not. Go ahead and click save. And on the player scene, go back to 2D, select node over here, select player, click plus, and then you'll type in player, enter, and then that's when this will show up, and click the checkbox. Perfect. And then we can go back to our coin, Command C, Control C to copy, go back to your main scene, Command V, and use W on your keyboard to move the coins where you want them to be. And then I'm gonna click Control D just to duplicate, and make sure player is selected on both of these coins. Now, in order to add a sound to our coin, we're going to to select coin in the coin scene, right click, add child node, audio, stream player, double click that, and we're gonna go to inspector, drag your coin sound here, make sure looping, autoplay, none of that is on, and right click, rename this to coin sound, just like this. Save, and then you'll go to your scripts, and for your coin GD script, this is exactly what you want to have there. Then we'll go ahead and click play, and when you pick up your coins, you can now hear the sound. All right, so we'll go to the file system, create new folder, and we're gonna select sound. I'm just gonna name it sound for now. I'm not gonna get too particular. I'm just gonna drag that above so that it's not a child of coin. And when I moved it up, the sound folder just moved down here. Okay, and then we're gonna drag in the coin sound and the return of the 8-bit sound. I'll drop these again in the description if you want to use the exact same ones as I am using. Go to your main scene, select a node 2D, right click, add a child, and let's do stream player, audio stream player. We'll double click that, and we're gonna right click, rename it to music player with a capital P, capital M, and we'll add our music file. This is the music we're gonna be playing throughout, so we'll just drop that here. Turn on autoplay, my bad, so that when we click play, it will continue to play, and open parameters as well and select looping since we want this one to keep playing. So when I click play, we should hear our music. Oh shoot, there we go. Okay, the music fades as I fall. Okay, so you're doing awesome so far. Next, we're gonna find a way to keep track of the score or the amount of coins picked up. All right, so go to main, we're gonna click plus and type in canvas layer, and then we'll double click that, and then right click, add child node, and we'll type in label. Okay, there we go. And we're gonna rename label, right click, rename score label with the capitals. It is going to be case sensitive there. And then over here in the text in the inspector, type in score:0 so that we know that the score is 0. You should be able to see the text here at this point. Then you'll go to node, click plus to add a script. It's going to be main GD, just click load. And here is the code that you're going to add for the coin. Again, you can read through this and kind of figure out like, okay, if the coin is collected, on coin collected, the score goes up by 1. And you can change that depending on it. Maybe you have some coins that equal more amount and you'd attach that script to that unique coin. Okay, so then we're gonna go back to 2D and let's go ahead and click play and see what happens. And there the score is up there. And if for some reason you can't see it, it might be too small if you don't see it, so you can select the score label. Oh my gosh, and then go to theme overrides and select font sizes and turn that up even more to even make it appear. Sometimes it's just kind of a weird thing. So I can see it here, and under the properties here, you can see that it's aligned with like the top left, and that's why it's going to be up here no matter where we move our game. Just hopping in really quick here, one thing we forgot to do is to add a coin group to both coins. So go to the coins in your main scene and go to node, go to groups plus, and then you'll type in coin, make sure it's lowercase. The C needs to be lowercase, and then click enter, and you'll see it here, and you'll just check this, and you'll make sure that on any other coins you have in the scene, it is also checked. So make sure that that is selected, and then when you click play and you go to pick up your coin, now it adds to your score. And step number 9 is once the player falls, we want to restart the level. Open the main scene, click node 2D, add a child, and we're gonna do area 2D. Just double click that. Right click, rename it to death zone, like so. And we're gonna go back to the 2D section, right click, add child, add a collision shape 2D, double click that, and we're gonna make this a rectangle. And then you'll just put this below your level, and you wanna stretch it as far as basically you would want like the death zone to be. So I'm gonna just put it underneath, make sure it's underneath all of your platformer pieces. And then we're going to click death zone and add a script. Click create, and then we'll use this code here. Go ahead and save, Control S, let's click play, and we'll test it out. If we fall, then the game restarts. Yay! There we go, huge wins. And after I put together all the level design, here is what my game ended up looking like. You can add a background super simply just by dragging and dropping it in your Godot project, adding it to the scene, and arranging it with that WASD. Decorate your scene with the tiles you have, download more asset packs, and kit bash different pieces, different assets, and make a cool platformer. Now for step number 10, to upload your game to the web for free and actually make it playable so you can share this link with your friends very easily. And how we're going to do this is go up to project, we're going to export the project, and you're going to select add, select web, and that's when you'll get this here. And then you're going to select this little paper here and save it where you would like to save it. Just go ahead and choose whichever drive. I'm going to choose my E drive, and I'm going to create a new folder called the YouTube Godot game. Click OK.
And then in here, we're just going to type in index.html. Go ahead and click save, export your project. Click save again, just make sure that it's saved out. And you're gonna go to VIVERSE.com. This is where we're gonna publish our game for free. First, you'll make an account, and after you make your account and you log in, you're gonna open your profile over here, go to VIVERSE Studio. This is where you'll control uploading your game. We're gonna click upload right here, create new world, and you're gonna name it. I'm gonna call it Godot YouTube Test 2, and then you can add a description, of course, agree to the terms of service, click create. Then we're going to go to content versions and select file, and this is going to be where you're going to upload that content. So I'm just going to show you from the new one that I just made. So here's my YouTube Godot game folder, but as you can see, we can't see anything, and that's because it needs to be a zip file. So I'm going to actually go to the folder in my regular file explorer here, and here's everything. In the YouTube Godot game, I'm just going to highlight all this, and then I'm going to right click, compress to a zip file, and here it is, index, and now you can see it's showed up in the upload content, so I'm just going to double click that. And once it's here, you still have to click the big blue upload button, and you'll see the information about it uploading down here, and it says upload successful. Before you submit it for a review, if you want to send it to someone, you can use the guest preview link. If you're going to view it just yourself, you can click preview, and it's going to go ahead and open a new tab, and it will open up your game. So let's see this. There we go, Godot's loading. And here we are, yay! This is awesome. Okay, so I'm just gonna exit that out. And now, if you want it to be public for everybody to be able to see on VIVERSE, you'll just click submit for review. And it usually takes our team about 2 weeks to review your submission. But you'll get a link over here where you can click this and then grab that link and send it to a friend once it's public. So anybody can play your game super easily. It's free. And it's wonderful. People can even leave comments on your game, follow you, and give you a like.
Now, if you're looking for funding to expand this project into an even bigger one, check out this video next on details about the creator program and how you could get possible funding for your game.